We've gotten soft. You, me, everyone. Society as a whole has gotten soft. And yet it makes perfect sense, because we've reached a point in society where effort and grit and determination and hard work is no longer praised or rewarded. If anything, it's sometimes frowned upon, or at bare minimum dubbed as crazy. Like, why would you push yourself that hard? Why would you work that hard, put yourself through that much pain and suffering? Why would you do it? Because, well, most of the time, everything's just handed to you these days. Life has gotten relatively soft and relatively easy, and is just, coasting through and doing the bare minimum, and, not going the extra mile is just considered normal. It's just part and parcel of life. So why would you put in the extra work? Why would you push yourself to see, especially in things that quote unquote don't matter? Like the gym or exercise or nutrition or any of those things. Why would you go that extra mile? Why would you push to see what is possible? Because that's what we need. Like, we've reached this point where we don't realize that we need obstacles and challenges. We need to take on things that are daunting and we might fail at. But who we become in the pursuit of those things is, well, that's more of the point. Who you discover yourself to be. Are you existing or are you living? Are you pushing the boundaries of your potential to see what is on the other side? Because that's where we need to get to. And so, next time you're working out and you feel that burn and you feel that pressure and you know that you've reached a point and you're like, fuck, this hurts. Instead of quitting, instead of stopping, instead of, slamming on the brakes, sit in it. Sit in that pain, sit in that suffering. Take note of who you are in that moment. Take note of how much you could take, how you managed it. And then let it go. And then stop. Take your breather and go again. But take note of that feeling so that next time you can push a little bit further. Next time you can take it that little step further. Hold out for a little bit longer. How much more could you take in that moment? And each time you do it, also congratulate yourself, because you didn't fucking die. We've gotten to a point where so many people's anxieties and stress levels and all these kinds of things are built up to such an immense level that we build up these stories about all the things that will happen if we push ourselves. You're not going to die. It's not going to be permanent. That suffering will just be for a moment. It's like the Eric Thomas quote, How long can you suffer? Because it might last for a minute, a day, an hour, a week, a year even. But if you quit, that's forever. Just keep pushing forward. Just keep digging deep. Just see who you can become through pushing through the pain. Because when you sit in that discomfort, when you sit in the uncomfortableness of it, you learn so much about who you are. You learn so much about your character. You learn a shit ton about who you are as a person and what you're willing to sacrifice for your goals, for the things that matter to you. The reason why most people don't succeed is because their priorities are out of whack. Like, that's just the short version of it. Like, their priorities are not in the right position. So I had this one with my mum, actually. And I closed my personal training studio for 3 weeks over Christmas. And she was like, fantastic. I am counting down the days till you go away so I don't have to come to the gym. And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, so excited for it. Can't fucking wait. And I was like, this is the problem. And she's like, no, this is great. And I'm like, no, this is why nothing's changing. This is why you can't get better at the gym, why you hate it so much, because you view it as this negativity, as this thing to count down until you stop. Like it's like the Christmas came early that she doesn't have to go to the gym anymore. It's why every minute of it sucks, why every second of it is a grind. Because you view it as this punishment, as this awful thing to be avoided. And it'll only fit into your life if it fits into your life. So for as long as you view exercise and nutrition as a if it fits around the rest of my life thing, you're never going to reach that point. You're never going to be able to reach a sustainable level in your health and fitness because, well, it's got to fit around everything else. No, that's not how this works. Exercise should be the priority. Eating good food should be the priority. That should be the number one thing. And you build the rest of your life around that fact. And people call it obsessive and, maybe you should just have a little bit of fun in life and kick back in life. Or maybe you should take your health, your number one thing, seriously. Maybe you should decide that being fit, strong, and healthy, being the best version of yourself is, maybe a priority in your life. Maybe we should stop being soft cocks about it all and go, maybe I need to harden up and actually put in work. Maybe I need to choose fueling my body for good, to give me energy, to function at its highest level. Maybe I should choose that over sedation, over choosing things that don't truly bring me joy, like junk food, like alcohol, like drugs, like any of these things that don't actually benefit me in any way. They just have negative things. It is not punishment to eat good food. It is rewarding you. It's rewarding your body. It is saying that I care about my life. And it doesn't mean that you can never have those other things, but it means that you should be choosing health over addiction. The fact that you view it as punishment is that it's the problem. That health and fitness, the thing that fuels our entire life, that gives our life the ability to have meaning, shouldn't be the thing that you go, oh, that's a fucking punishment. Oh, I have to, exercise again. Fuck my life. Oh, look, it's Monday. It means I have to go to the gym again. Like, of course that's never going to work. Of course that's never going to be sustainable. Because just look at how you're framing it. Look at how you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for failure. It means at the first opportunity to quit, at the first opportunity to throw out an excuse to not do the exercise, to not do the work, of course you're going to take it. It's something that you hate. Of course you're going to throw out any reason not to do it. We have to shift the paradigm around this. We have to shift how we think about these things. We have to shift how we show up for these things. We have to stop being soft and go, oh, it requires effort. Oh, it's hard. Oh, it hurts. Yeah, because that's where the benefit comes from. Like pushing through hard times, you're rebuilding your body. You're breaking it down to be better. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. But the reason why so few people have a great physique, the reason why so few people have great success in their life, the reason why so few people ever reach anything of value that they want in their life is because it requires effort. It requires some form of sacrifice. It requires giving up the easy for the long term, for your benefit, for future you. Yeah, it requires some sacrifices along the way. But at the end of the day, are they truly sacrificing? Like, when you truly think about it, when you break it down, is not sedating yourself, not running away from your life, but actually choosing your life as a priority, is that a sacrifice? No. That's rewarding yourself, but you can't get there until you shift your paradigm about these things. For as long as you view all these things as a negative, as a temporary thing to get to a slightly better place, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to get anywhere. Because no, junk food isn't a reward. It's a negative. It detracts from your life. Yes, you might enjoy it in the moment, but it actually takes away from your life. If you started building a life of value, a life that you are proud of, a life that you want to show up for, maybe you wouldn't be afraid of it. Maybe you wouldn't be trying to hide away in food or in alcohol or in drugs or in any form of sedation. You'd be like, fuck yeah, give me more of that. You just got to choose where you place your focus, and you've got to change how you think about things. You have to build in that exercise is the positive thing. You'll feel better after you do it. You get a serotonin dump. It sets you up for your day. It makes you feel good. It makes everything else in your life easier. Even if you just view it as the hardest thing that you do that day, it means that everything else will be easier. Everything else will be simpler. And as I said, if you can learn to sit in the pain and the suffering of a workout, well, all of a sudden then all the other stuff feels easy. Because you've literally voluntarily put yourself into pain and suffering and then sat in it, observed it, enjoyed it, felt what it was like, and then decided to try and push further next time. Yeah, it makes everything else in your life easier. It makes everything else in your life simpler. It makes the whole goddamn process way more straightforward. Because, well, you've decided to harden up. You've built yourself as a hardened man. You've done the work, and now the rest of your life gets easier. We need to stop being soft. We need to stop avoiding temporary pain. We need to stop avoiding temporary discomfort so that we can have long-term satisfaction, so that we can have long-term success, so that we can have long-term joy and happiness and build a life of meaning and value. Too many people die at 25 and wait to be buried at 75. It's time to actually go out and live a life of value. And I cannot emphasize it enough. That will always start with fitness. It'll start with nutrition. It'll start with building the best body possible. It is your vehicle to everything else. It is the vehicle to an untapped potential of life. Not just in having a great physique, not in just being healthier, not just in having more energy, not just showing up as a better version of yourself, but the things that it teaches you along the way. It teaches you grit, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you fortitude, it teaches you focus, it teaches you to reward yourself with things that will benefit you, not that will actually detract from your life. And I know it's a hard concept to wrap your head around. I know that it is a gigantic paradigm shift. But when you start viewing it that way, everything will get easier. I promise you, once you start viewing it as, I am rewarding my body, not punishing myself for it, you'll enjoy the process way more, because you'll stop viewing it as a negative thing. You'll stop viewing it as this hardship that you must endure to just get through. It is something that you can just look forward to and revel in and realize that it improves you, and that's exciting. So then you're chasing improvement and a better life rather than just suffering for the sake of suffering. Though sometimes there is, value in that, but there's a whole different other fucking story. But it gives the meaning to it. It shows you who you can and should be. It shows you what is possible. So stop resenting that you have to exercise and start looking forward to it. Looking forward to trying to push yourself to see what you can do today. See how much further you can take it today. See what is possible when you go all in on yourself. That's an exciting moment. That's an exciting possibility. But you have to be willing to view it that way. You have to be willing to show up and go, yeah, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm gonna see who I can be from doing this work. I'm gonna see what is possible when I go all in. That is a worthwhile endeavor. That is worthwhile doing. To stop being soft and start actually going, how much can I take? And then, as I said, it starts to transform you. It starts to transform your mentality. You start to question the other areas, to question how much more you could do on other things, because you're willing to do the work. You're willing to sit in the hurt locker and take it a little bit, to discover who you are. We discussed the other day, character is defined by who you are when shit hits the fan. So who are you when it's difficult? Who are you when things aren't easy? When your body is screaming at you to quit? When it's telling you that you can't take anymore? And you stop and you sit in that, and you sit in that moment and you take it. You discover who you truly are. You discover if the bitch voice or the boss voice is in charge. You discover who is calling the shots. Are you going to run away from that adversity, or are you going to step forward and be like, bring it the fuck on? Let's see who I can be. Let's see what I can take. Because that's a really defining moment. And you get to take that in a microcosm. You get to take that every single day. You can push into that moment and take a little bit more, and take a little bit more, and take a little bit more. And in a month, you will be shocked at how much of your life has changed for the better. Because you learnt to take the pain and you push through it. You learnt to sacrifice the unimportant for the important. You learn to put aside your need for instant gratification now to see who you could truly become. That's a game changer. That makes you a different man. That makes you a different beast. That makes you someone who cannot be fucked with. And I think that's worthwhile. I think that's worth stepping into if you're willing to do that work. So are you willing to do that work? Are you willing to push into that? Because if you are, it's time to message me. It's time to stop talking about it and start acting on it. It's time to stop being soft and actually do the work. So shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's see who you can become by pushing forward. If you're not quite there, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if you took value from this, if you enjoyed it, if it spoke to you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm here every single day, sharing these lessons as I go through it, because as I said to you at the start, I have been weak. I have not been choosing the route that's going to deliver my highest good. And I'm fixing that. I'm taking ownership of it. And you can too. So I'm here every single day, sharing from the front and sharing my experiences. And I hope they inspire you, and I hope they push you forward, and I hope that you'll be back again tomorrow. So until then.